Hello everyone! So today, this is not going to be a London Diaries vlog. So if you're here for a London Diaries vlog, I apologize. It's mainly because I did not film anything this week, but I did do things. I went to Covent Garden again. Ooh, I went ice skating at the Natural History Museum, which was really fun, and it is the last year that they're doing that, so if you're in London, go do that. Yeah, I haven't filmed anything, but I do post on my Instagram, so go follow me on there. Shameless plug, I know. Yeah, today's video is going to be all about applying to universities in London for a master's program. I have a bunch of notes right here, a lot of helpful and valuable information. I think this is going to be very relevant to now because I believe the applications are already open and ready for students to apply. I highly recommend that you get your applications in before the Christmas break, which I did not do, but we'll get into that later. This video will have some timestamps. I'm gonna try and embed them into the video. I'm not really sure how to do that, but I will figure it out because some of this information will be relevant to you, some of it will not be all relevant to you because I will be talking about visas and finances, for example, US federal student loan. But for the rest of it, I will be talking about personal statements, finances, visa, and accommodation. First, we're gonna get into a little bit of my background. So if you're new here, my name is Noor. I'm from San Diego, California, and I studied my Bachelor of Science at the University of California, San Diego, doing environmental systems and earth sciences. And now I currently study at University College London for a Master of Science in Environment and Sustainable Development. I actually applied to master's programs that were all based in London. I applied to 4 universities. I applied to University College London, King's College London, London School of Economics, and the School of Oriental and African Studies. So 4 programs, all of them were very related to each other. I really just wanted to get into environment and sustainable development or environment and politics and development. So out of those 4 universities, I got into 3. You can already assume that I did not get into London School of Economics, a very competitive university, but I applied very late. I think so in my opinion. I applied in early April of this year, and all of these universities got back to me at different times. So SOAS University got back to me 10 days after I applied. King's College London got back to me exactly 6 weeks after I applied. London School of Economics got back to me in exactly 8 weeks after I applied, and University College London actually took the longest. They got back to me around 9-ish weeks. So I got accepted in end of July. Let's get into it. We're first going to be talking about personal statements, which I believe is the bulk of your application. It is the most important part of your application. It is the highlight. Clearly, after you've done some research on which programs you'd like to apply to, what you're interested in, and the institutions. I'm gonna be looking down a little bit because I have my notes, but you are then going to get into the process of writing your personal statement. So the personal statement is about what you've done, what you've learned, what you want to do, and why. What I suggest first is reading through the program and the university that you are applying to and the department that the program is under. This is very important because in your statement, you want to state why you've applied to that specific program, and even reflecting back some of their words that they've used to describe the program. So look at the modules that they're offering. Maybe include that within your personal statement as to why these modules interest you, and even emphasize that it is a reason why you are applying to that program because this university offers this specific module under this specific department. You just want to show them that you are well educated on what they are offering. Mostly I'm putting an emphasis on the modules that they offer because that is the core of the program, the teachings of the program, what you are going to learn and what they are offering, what the program is all about basically. Let's get straight into the beginning of your personal statement. Right away, you don't want any... My SD card ran out, so I just put in a new one. I'm gonna try and remember where I got off on. Right when you start your personal statement, the intro, though, why you want to apply to this program at this specific university is you don't want to start or include any fluff, any I was interested in this subject ever since I was a kid and blah blah blah. So what I did in the beginning of my personal statement was I just went straight into it. I explained what program I want to pursue, including at what university and the department. I also included what field and job that I want to pursue. I also want to give credit to the university. So maybe say it's a world-leading institution. You want to basically boost their ego. I'm actually going to read to you the beginning of my personal statement. So I went straight into it. I said, I would like to undertake a Master of Science in Environment and Sustainable Development at University College London, as I'm very dedicated to pursuing a career in sustainability research and management. So, and then I said, I have chosen to study at University College London, considering it is one of the world's leading research institutions, providing modules that emphasize global climate, blah blah blah. So you go into the emphasis of the modules, and then I also later said, with regards to the Bartlett Development Planning Unit, not only am I interested in environmental planning and management, but also in, and then more specific details about the program. So that was within just the first paragraph of my personal statement, was stating why, which program, and giving emphasis to the modules that they offer and the department that offers this program. Okay, next, I talked about myself. I talked about my experiences, my previous education, the internships that I have done, the research opportunities. But this is very important. You do not just want to state what you have done, what you have researched, the internships you have done as an action, but you want to emphasize what you have learned through these research opportunities, through these internships, through your undergrad. So yes, emphasis on what you've learned and why that learning experience is very valuable and relevant to what you want to pursue. And once again, you do not want to talk about passion and why you're passionate. You need to show, this is very cheesy and very obvious, but you want to show that you are passionate and dedicated to pursuing this master's program through what you have previously done, reflecting on your experiences that are relevant to basically the buildup of who you've become and why you want to further your education within this specific program. After I reflected on my experiences, what I've learned, I then talked about values that I believe are traits required for this type of challenging and rigorous program. You want to show that you are capable, because a master's program is a highly intense course. They want to see that you are capable of undertaking this sort of challenge. This could connect back to your reflections on your experiences and what you've learned, that you have developed these specific traits and qualities that allow you to be capable of undertaking a challenging program like this. And also, emphasis on this, do not brag too much, or do not show that you think so highly of yourself, because you are not a professional in this field. You are pursuing the knowledge that will allow you to become a professional in this field. Do not sound like a professional because you are talking to the professionals. So be humble. Okay. And then, I think this is the fourth point, maybe the fourth paragraph, somewhere around there, towards the end of your personal statement, you can maybe mention a topic that is a problem to be solved in the field, and how you want to look at this specific problem and how would you like to approach it. So as an environment and sustainable development student, I made sure to mention the United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, and I talked about how they have been advancing, but they lack balance and sufficient progress in several areas. So I went and talked about the health, social inequalities, and deterioration of the natural environment that stems from an absence of global sustainable effort and knowledge contribute to the urgent state our Earth is in today. And then I talked about how I want to acquire an understanding of contrasting global policies and problems is critical to developing sustainable solutions. And then I went on to emphasize how I can learn all of this through this program at this specific university. I did mention that this is an aspect which I'm greatly interested in, and I'm very keen to pursue a career in research and management, dedicating to preserving the natural environment and advancing sustainable development. Lastly, should be throughout your entire personal statement. You need to show dedication. You need to show that you are willing to face challenges. You need to show your experiences and your reflections and what you have learned. And you need to show why you want to pursue this program at this university. And once again, reflecting back those words that they have used to describe the program, reflecting back the modules that they have within the program and how these modules will further your knowledge on the subject and will allow you to pursue the specific field you want to get into and the specific career. Ultimately, this personal statement should comprise of why you want to undertake this degree, why at this university, what are your plans and future goals, and what are your relevant experiences, what have you learned, what do you want to learn, and why this learning experience and opportunity will allow you to do such possibilities. We are going to get into finances, and I believe this portion of the video will mainly apply to students coming from the US like myself. So I only have a little bit to talk about within this portion, but it is first, if you are looking to finance your education through a student loan, do not look at private loan companies. Just don't, because through London universities, most of them, I believe nearly all, are accredited within the US. So you can apply for a US federal student loan directly through the FAFSA application. So what you do first, and this should be on a page within the university's website that you are applying to. So this is how I found all of this information, which I'll try and link down below. Firstly, do your financial aid application, and then later on after that, once it has been processed and submitted to the university, you then get into the unsubsidized, subsidized loans and the Direct Plus loan, which you will apply to if you need further funds, depending on how much you need. And yeah, those direct student loans will be able to apply to most universities in London, I believe most in the UK as well. And it is because the interest rate is just so much lower than you will get at a private student loan company. Sallie Mae, no. If you apply to a US federal loan, you will get interest rates between 5 to 6%, which is half of what Sallie Mae offers to you. So don't go to her, don't go to Sallie Mae. Also, with filling out the FAFSA form, what some students do not know is that some universities in London will basically say that you qualify to waive your deposit. So once you get admitted into the university, there is a deposit that you have to pay that requires for you to be enrolled, and that deposit does apply to your overall fees. But for example, for King's College London, they required a £2,000 deposit before actually enrolling into the university, and my FAFSA allowed me to waive that deposit. In comparison to that, to University College London, their deposit was £500 and they did not have the option of waiving that deposit through a financial aid form. Lastly, this applies to everyone. Please, please, please look up scholarships. Honestly, just look it up on Google. There are, I believe these are just US sites, but I'm not exactly sure. There's Unigo, there's Bold, there's scholarships.com, you just gotta look for it. And please, please make sure that they are legit, they are real, they are not scams. So do your research on them. You really can be applying to scholarships on a weekly basis. I tried doing that before I moved here to London, and before applying as well. But it does take a lot of time. There are people that say there is money out there in scholarships, so don't make the excuse that you can't get money for college. No, it's a lot of work and effort. So this is me encouraging you to find those scholarships, apply to them. There are a lot out there. Just please make sure to make some time for them. Maybe 1 hour a week, 15 minutes a week, whatever you can, because it is very helpful. Next, we are going to talk about the visa process. So this portion will only apply to international students and maybe more to US students like myself, because this was a personal experience for me as a US student. So this process will happen after you have gotten an acceptance from a university. So once you have been accepted, a couple weeks after, I would say, you get a CAS reference number, which you will use to put into your visa application. So you cannot apply for a visa right after you get accepted. You have to wait for that CAS reference number and use that number to put into your application, because that number has all of the information about you, your tuition, your university, because the university that you have been accepted to has input all of that information that is referenced within that CAS number. So use that CAS reference number into your visa application, complete the visa application, and at the very end you are required to make a biometric residence permit appointment at your nearest location, wherever you are. So I am from San Diego. I did it at a location in Chula Vista, I think some sort of immigration services. And at that appointment, they took all of my finger scans, yeah, and then a visa headshot photo portrait, which will be in your visa. And then, yeah, you get that information and you do it yourself. You physically, you know, pack everything up, and I had to send it to the New York office, the UK Immigration Visa Services, which is only in New York and all of US. And I believe the New York office also takes care of Canadian. That was a rumor, because it does take a while. I did not pay more to expedite the process, so I waited about a month to get all of my papers and visa back after I sent it out. So I sent it out, waited a month, got it back, and that actually caused me to delay my flight, delay my move to London. So get onto this as fast as you can. Whenever you get your CAS reference number, apply, get that BRP appointment, send your application and your passport, your papers, and if you really have to, it would be best to expedite the process. And last, we are going to be talking about accommodation. I did look at student accommodation outside of the housing and dorms that my university offers to students. There's some specific to postgrad, some specific to undergrad, that the university offers to you. I just found it very expensive, so I just looked at student accommodation in general in London for all university students in London. So sites that I looked at, I just basically looked up on Google, affordable student accommodation in London. That did help, but there's just gonna be a bunch of sites. So I looked at student.com, amberstudent.com, accommodationforstudents.com, and then yeah, you put your budget, you put location, you can find a couple. Usually if you get out of zone 1, it's cheaper, but then also transportation it does add up. So I recommend trying to find the most affordable location you can find within zone 1 of London and whatever is nearest to your university. If your university is within zone 1, I highly recommend living within zone 1. I think transportation will add up. I think it will add up to, if not equal or even more of an amount than you would pay to live in zone 1. Within these websites that I mentioned, I personally wouldn't recommend to book directly through these third-party sites. I would just find the accommodation and then look up that location, find their direct site if you'd like to book a room directly through them. I think especially you also want to call them, you know, make sure it's legit. Yeah, talk to them, maybe get a virtual viewing. What I looked at and what I got eventually, as you can see right here, is I got a flat. I got a 3-bedroom flat with other students, have my own room, which is nice. Don't have my own bathroom, but that's okay. I was willing to compromise, totally fine with me. Coming from someone who lived in a triple with 7 girls and 1 bathroom. So I was fine. Anyways, some flat sites that I looked at were Spare Room, Zoopla, Rentola, and Rightmove. And the one that I eventually found my flat through was Spare Room. .co.uk. And I highly recommend renting through a landlord, because if you rent through a real estate company, office, whatever it may be, it seems a little bit hectic. I think you have to get more documents than you would through a landlord. At least that was in my case. And as an international student, they definitely require more. In most cases, you won't really qualify unless you're rich. I don't know. That was not in my case. So I ended up renting directly through a landlord. I got a virtual viewing, obviously, because I was in California. I needed a place to move into right away once I landed. So yeah. Okay, I completely apologize. All of my SD cards are full for some reason. I have no idea why. I've literally tried emptying them. They're all empty, but it's full. But anyways, I'm filming on my phone now. Hopefully the audio was like mediocre. But yeah, that's basically it. I think we got over personal statement, visas, accommodation, finances. I really hope that you find this information valuable and that it is going to help you. And I genuinely wish you the best of luck through your application process. I hope you all get admitted into your top universities. UCL was my top choice, so I am very thankful, grateful, happy that I have been given the opportunity to study at my top program, my top university, to have moved here to London from California. It's all been such a great experience so far. I've been here for a little over a month and highly recommend, if this is even just a thought to you to apply to universities in London, to apply to a master's program, I say go for it, 100%. Obviously taking into account the finances, the international fees, the whole process, obviously, yes, take that into account. Even if you just want to move to London to work here, I highly recommend. It's just been an amazing opportunity. So yes, I wish you all the best of luck. I'm going to try and link all of the resources that have helped me, some videos that have helped me develop my personal statement. Yes, best of luck. Hope you all get your applications in soon, although I did get mine in April, so maybe you will get lucky like me. And I will see you all next week with a room makeover. That's why my room is so bland. Anyways, thank you all for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, you know. Follow me on Instagram.